So in Iran, and so the Middle East also came back. In India, although northern India continued to be under the control of the Central Asian invaders, at least much of southern India came to be under the control of another great empire called the Vijayanagar. Now, in this situation, it's quite interesting what the Chinese did. Remember, the Chinese, just like today, they were very conscious that they had come back from a period of decline. So what they did is, they wanted to also project power. Just like today they want to project power, the Ming emperors also wanted to project power. So they built a huge navy. This navy was led by a very unlikely leader, an admiral who was a eunuch actually, called Admiral Zheng He. And Admiral Zheng He led these magnificent expeditions into the Indian Ocean. The ships he used were massive. They were massive even by modern standards. And in each one of these expeditions, he had between 20 to 25,000 sailors and soldiers and merchants on these expeditions. So these were huge expeditions by modern standards. The technology they were using at that time was almost a century ahead of what the Europeans were using. So the ships were huge, the technology was huge, and there was no doubt at that time that the Chinese were far in advance of anybody of that time. And using these ships, Admiral Zheng He came to the Indian Ocean. And he sailed all over the Indian Ocean. He came to, he went to Indonesia, where of course the main rival to the Chinese were the Hindu empire of the Majapahit, which was a Hindu empire of what is now Indonesia. He came to Sri Lanka, he came to India, he went to Africa and to Arabia. Now it is important, while he was trading, it is important to remember that this was primarily a projection of power, because do remember that these are not voyages of exploration. Indians, or indeed even the Chinese, had been sailing these waters for hundreds of years before that. So what they were really doing was signaling that, look, yes, we were conquered by the Mongols, but China is back. That is what they were signaling, and they made repeated voyages. Indeed, they did a lot of geopolitical maneuvering also in the Indian Ocean. So for example, they tried to change the king of Sri Lanka and put their own candidate there. Since they were suspicious of the Hindu Majapahit empire in Indonesia, they actually backed an Islamic kingdom in Malacca. So they encouraged the local king of Malacca to convert to Islam, and then they backed it to fight against the Majapahit. So you can see the Chinese have been in this area doing their thing for a very long time. And this is what Admiral Zheng He as well did. And he made repeated voyages. So if around about the 1435 or so, you had asked anybody, you know, some part of the world is going to dominate the world, can you guess who that's going to be? They were almost always, everybody was going to say China, not Europe. They were all going to say China. They were ahead technologically. They were already geopolitically powerful. They had taken over large parts of the world's oceans. So, you know, everybody would have said, you know, next few centuries belongs to China. But then something very interesting happened. You see, the Ming emperor died, and a new Ming emperor came to the throne. And this new emperor had been brought to the throne because of the support of the Confucian mandarins, which is the bureaucrats. And the Confucian mandarins were suspicious of their rivals in court, who were the eunuchs, like Admiral Zheng He. So they did what all good bureaucrats do. They switched off the money. They must have made the procurement process very, very complicated, as you can imagine. Simple way to shut down the military. And in fact, the Chinese Navy was never defeated in war. All that happened was that it rotted. It literally rotted in the port. And the records of these great voyages of Zheng He were completely suppressed. In fact, they did such a good job of it that it's only in the 20th century, late 20th century, that we have now begun to discover the importance of these great voyages of Zheng He. So, there was no sudden collapse of Chinese power. It slowly faded away. Chinese support, of course, continued to various vassals in the Indian Ocean. For example, Malacca fought against the Majapahit, pushed them back and back, till the last of the Majapahit withdrew to Bali, where they continued to remain Hindu. But rest of Indonesia basically over time became Islamic. As I said, the Islamization of Southeast Asia was a Chinese geopolitical project. Not many people know this. In other parts of the Indian Ocean, the withdrawal of the Chinese led to a vacuum. And into this vacuum, a new power turned up, the Portuguese. So this is the environment in which Vasco da Gama turned up with just 3 ships. Now, in case you wondered, how is it that this small power, Portugal, which was not even a major power in Europe, turns up in the Indian Ocean and basically takes it over within a decade or 2? The reason it was able to do this is because the Chinese had been there before them. They had knocked out all their rivals and then just walked off, leaving a vacuum which the Europeans just happened to fill up. So this leads us to some of the great lessons of history. What are those lessons? First of all, be very wary of bureaucrats. As you can see, that you can have all the geopolitical ambitions in the world, but it's your internal politics that will do you in. And this is what happened to the Chinese. I'm not just including the bureaucrats, I meant that facetiously, of course, but your internal dynamics matters a lot more than you think, even if you happen to be a great power. So today's great powers, whatever that's happening to them, is driven largely by their own. They don't have to be necessarily defeated in war. It is their own dynamics which will lead to their downfall. Second, it has a very important lesson to India. Remember that between the decline of the Chinese and the coming of the Portuguese, there were several decades empty. Now, why is it that the Vijayanagar Empire, the Indians, did not fill it out? This was, after all, an empty space. The Vijayanagar Empire was a very prosperous empire with a long coastline, and indeed very much aware of coastal benefits of coastal trade, because its own wealth was based on maritime trade. And yet the Vijayanagar emperors made no real attempt to create a big navy or project power. Look at the change in attitude between Rajendra Chola and Vijayanagar Empire. Now, the Vijayanagar was a great empire indeed, but it did not lead to a re-establishment of Indian economic, military or civilization power. It was at best a holding job. They were holding on, but it didn't help. Retreating behind the walls never helps. That's what the Chinese discovered. Having the Great Wall of China hadn't helped them against the Mongols, and it didn't help them later on against the Manchurians. And for us to have decided that we were not going to project power in the maritime space and remain at home did not mean that we were left alone. Far from it, the Europeans turned up, and the next colonization of India actually happened from the sea. So this has, again, a very important lesson to us today, that we have to engage with the world. Just because we want to hide behind the walls does not mean that the rest of the world is going to leave us alone. So to be a great power, to revive as a civilization, we cannot think of it in terms of purely being domestically oriented. We have to engage with the world. It has to be done by an outward orientation, because no matter what you say, the rest of the world is going to carry on. You may not have an interest in them, but they have an interest in you. So these are the 2 big episodes of Indian history that I gave you. There are many others that I could talk about, but the point I was trying to get to, now coming back to the present, is this. We now face a peculiar period in world history where clearly the old order is breaking down and a new order is appearing. We are an emerging power. We want to be a great power, but we are not there yet. And we are in an environment where there is not only rivalry between the two large existing powers, but they also look on us with some degree of suspicion. So this is an environment which we have to deal with, but we need to deal with it with the following principles in mind. First of all, we cannot compartmentalize different fields of power. We have to not just have an all-of-government approach, we have to have an all-of-nation approach. We cannot separate out military power from economic power. We cannot separate out the government and public sector from private sector. All of these things are intertwined. Whatever our internal differences may be, when we are dealing with the world, we have to be on the same side. Because the people with whom we are dealing with are going to come to the table being united on their side in their own way. Secondly, world power and dynamics of world power are extremely unpredictable. Do not bother to try and predict it. After all, nobody could have guessed circa 1450 that it was not the Chinese but the Portuguese who would come to dominate the Indian Ocean. Not possible to have predicted it. Similarly, it is not possible for us to predict exactly how things will pan out from here on, either with President Trump or with President Xi or with many other people around us, not to mention random shocks like COVID that could happen. What we need to do is to be internally resilient and have policies that are flexible to deal with the situation as it appears. We tend to get very disappointed every time things do not quite pan out the way we may have planned. But in fact, it should be entirely surprising if it does pan out the way you planned it, because the world is uncertain. It's an unstable place by definition. So the game is not to have grand plans, but to invest into your own strength, and very importantly, be willing to act opportunistically when the opportunity arises. So you have to be willing to go in there and do it. And finally, when we say Atmanirbhar Bharat, or we say Swadeshi, we should not confuse it with some 1950s view of import substitution and looking inward. Of course, we should build on our own strength, but it has to be an outward-oriented approach. We need to go out there and capture export markets. We need to go out there and build geopolitical linkages. And we need to be willing to use these for pursuing national interest. With that, let me stop. Jai Hind. Is there time for question and answer, or how does it work? Yeah? Okay. So maybe a few questions from the audience.
Ready, mic 3.
You'll have to wait for the mic.
Mic 3.
Since I'm having a bit of a teaching also and others, one thing is there, we're saying we're going towards protectionism, though globalization is the key. The one thing you again gave a pitch for globalization. So how far, what kind of a trade-off is there between globalization and protectionism, which we are, a lot of politicians on TV are made in India and whatnot. A bit of light you can throw upon it.
So we need to be proud of made in India. But we should not confuse it with going back to license permit Raj and building ambassador cars. So when we say make in India, we need to be clear that this means that we have to engage with the cutting edge of what is happening today. That doesn't mean accepting shoddy products just because they're made in India. So this is why it is very important that we should be willing to be at the cutting edge. In many cases, that may involve having various kinds of alliances in different spaces with other countries as well. It may need us to have a much more proactive effort towards R&D. We may need to have a far more realistic approach about creative destruction of our own corporate sector, such that the efficient survive, but the inefficient are weeded out. So all of this is important, because when we say make in India, it means building on our own strengths. It does not mean sort of keeping some inefficient type of thing going. As I said, This is not a return to the ambassador car. You cannot compete with the rest of the world if your ambassador car is your cutting edge. Somewhere else, maybe the lady there can be given the mic. Or maybe, yeah.
Sir.
Where are you? Who's speaking? Yeah, there, okay.
सर ये जो अभी चल रहा है ट्रंप के साथ, तो क्या ट्रंप जो कर रहे हैं अभी वो भारत के लिए बेहतर है या मतलब नेगेटिविटी में जा रहा है ये भारत के लिए?
तो मैं अंग्रेजी में उसका उत्तर दूंगा,
जो आपकी इच्छा हो,
क्योंकि अभी तक अंग्रेजी में ही बोला है मैंने.
कोई
तो so the fact of the matter is, we should not waste our time thinking about whether President Trump is a good person or a bad person. He is what he is. We should accept it as the state of the world and pursue our interest to the extent we need to do in whatever way we need to do it. I think too much of the media debate or even debates in the drawing rooms are about whether or not he is a good person, trustworthy person, and so on. That is irrelevant. He is currently the President of the United States. He will do what he is doing. We should accept it as the state of the world and engage with it flexibly, pursue our interests. Where we need to stand our ground, we need to stand our ground. Where we need to make trade-offs, if it is possible, we shall make trade-offs. We should not be emotional about the whole matter. This is about long-term pursuit of Indian interest, which will last over not just President Trump, but the next 5 of his successors. So we have to think 25, 30 years of sustained engagement with the world during a period when we will go through our own demographic benefit period. So our job is to really deal with the world it is. So the point, the push I'm making is for a realist approach to our economic and foreign and military strategy, not an idealist approach.
Sir.
Where are you?
Sir, here. Here, sir.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Okay. So if after this, the mic can be brought to this side as well? Yeah.
Yeah, sir, continuing with the tariff situation which has been raised by the earlier questioner, what can the government actually do additionally to support our exporters so that they can still go out and capture the markets out there?
So, as I said, first of all, I have to be careful what I say, because I said I'm a policy maker, I'm not an analyst, and we are in an active, live situation. But let me say that whatever needs to be done will be done. We have announced before where deregulation needs to be done, it will be done. If financial support is needed in some fashion, that will be provided. But at every stage, we will also look to other partners. Remember that the US is not the only game in town. There are other partners we also need to look into. And even in the case of the US, there are things we can pursue. So I don't think we should, get into this game of, looking at this to be played in a defensive way. This has to be played in offense. And if it requires us to do major reforms, then we should do it, or provide whatever support we do it. All of which will need, as I said, an all-of-nation approach. Just cannot be done by government. There has to be a wider effort by the population, by the corporate sector in pushing this effort. Yeah.
Good afternoon, sir. I am Shorojit Sanyal. I've come all the way from Goa, and I came yesterday evening, and this is the second edition. And by profession, I have been a chef for last 4 decades. And the first World Food India in 2017, which was inaugurated by Modi ji. So I made food from 27 different states, But I specialize in Mediterranean, Pan-Asian, and classical French, That's my bread and butter, But now I'm doing modern Indian. I've done a lot of research on it. And now, of course, I have opened one of the food courts here in Gurgaon, and Second will come up very soon near the Lokmanya Road, very soon, 31st of August. So there I have stressed a lot of, Dadima's food, like the Konkan belt, where I live in Goa. So it's a 2,000-kilometer stretch. And I was here last time also, and I have sent a mail to the Republic media also that what I have in mind, Because, so many, younger generations with all this junk food and all. So, like if you say something like a pizza, so we can have a substitute for it, something to do with, wheat. We can do a rotsa or a nanza. So a lot of things, if somebody wants to come to our food court and see, like a lot of things which are not known to India, and the younger generation do not know about it. And I have requested, I have also sent them a mail, a proposal, what I intend to do.
No, it's fair enough. I mean, if what you're saying is that we should promote our indigenous foods, I agree. If you can pass the mic over to the lady there. I mean, there is no question that we need to do that as well. And by the way, in addition to this, we need to also remember that we need to be willing to protect our indigenous seeds, cereals, crops of various kinds. And this is indeed one of the major issues which we have had while negotiating with the rest of the world. We have made an extra effort to try and protect our indigenous food systems because it is very easy to then slip into an environment where we are entirely dependent on hybrid varieties which may not be as nutritious as our domestic varieties. And losing food diversity is not only a bad thing, but very often what happens is that a few years later, this same indigenous variety turns up patented in some other country and then sold back to us. So we need to be careful of this, and so yes, I agree with you.
I'm Dr. Madhumita Kothari, and I'm an international lawyer and an international maritime lawyer. And therefore, what you spoke about India as a maritime power is an area of interest for me, and therefore I want to ask you this question since you are advising the Prime Minister also. Now, when I was doing my PhD on blue economy and ocean governance, I had put in a lot of issues in terms of India's maritime issues. We have a coastline of 8,118 kilometers. There are more than 19 ministries of the government of India which have stakes in the oceans. But there is not even one body to coordinate between these 19 ministries of the government of India. And except for the security issues along the coast and some port works being done, are we really capitalizing on our maritime resources? This is my question to you.
So this is an issue on which I have spoken widely, as you know. Although I will warn you that creating yet another Ministry of Coordination of Maritime Issues is a bad idea. You'll just end up creating another layer. As somebody who works in the government, let me say that the best we should do is to try and get those ministries to coordinate with each other, then create another layer. So I wouldn't advocate creating another coordinating ministry. But what you said otherwise is an important issue. So let me explain it to the rest of the audience. You see, we have land borders and also a coastline. When we look at our land borders, one of them is, of course, with our friendly neighbor to our west, with whom we don't trade at all, as you know. And while we do trade with China, which is the other land border, we don't trade with the bit that we have a border with, because we are actually, even that we are doing most of the trade with their East China, which is also basically maritime trade. So if you look at it from an economic and geostrategic perspective, India is actually an island nation. We are as much an island nation as Japan or Britain. 95% of the goods that go in and out of India, our exports and imports, happen through our sea lanes. So therefore, protecting our sea lanes is absolutely critical. And yet, you'll be shocked to know that over 90% of our trade is carried on foreign ships. I would argue that this is our single biggest geopolitical risk. Forget other countries sanctioning us. If a handful of large global shipping lines sanction us, we would be in serious trouble. We could not sustain, beyond a few weeks without imports of spare parts, of energy, of all kinds of things coming in from the rest of the world. So maintaining control of our shipping lines, having the capability of moving goods on our ships is very critical. And yet, we currently have only 480 odd ships, Indian owned, a matter I raised a couple of years ago. And so, in the last year and a half, you may have seen that a lot of effort is being put into reviving our shipping, and I'm saying here specifically the merchant ship. So Navy also has seen a lot of investment, but I'm talking here specifically about our merchant Navy. A lot of effort has gone into it. We are beginning to revive shipbuilding in India in a very large way. We intend to become, within the decade, in the top 5 shipbuilding countries in the world, and I think we have a good shot at that. A lot of resources are being put. A very large maritime fund has been created. The shipbuilding yards are being opened. Large billions of dollars of large ship orders are being placed. And so a lot of effort is going to that. Recently, 4 big maritime-related laws were changed relating to ownership and flagging and so on. So this is a sector which we are going through very, very big changes. And we intend to invest in ships and shipbuilding and things maritime in a very big way in the next few years. With that, let me bring this to a close, because I think this has been a long session and there are other speakers as well waiting. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Jai Hind.
Mr. Sanjeev Sanyal, I request you to please stay with us for some time, because there's just one thing that's missing. And for that, I would request our editor-in-chief to please be on stage. This is the Nationalist Collective badge. And ladies and gentlemen, it is not just a badge, it is the pride, a proud badge that all of us are wearing today. Thank you very much, sir. That was a very insightful session and a wonderful question-answer round. Moving on, ladies and gentlemen, when we talk about Nation First and Nationalist Collective, I'm sure there's this one event that crosses everybody's mind here, everybody who's present here, that is Operation Sindhu. Just to give you a 30-second background of how we felt here at Republic Media Network headquarters, I still remember we broke the news at around 3 a.m. It was late at night, and we did not think about who is going to watch us. We just knew that we had to break the news to our audience, to people who are watching us, to our people, to our viewers who keep Nation First as their foremost priority, as their agenda. And that is how it filled our hearts with pride. And for the same, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm extremely honored to have the next guest with us on stage. Ladies and gentlemen, Operation Sindoor, the operation that served as a testament to the synergy and operation cohesion among Indian Army, Navy, and the Air Force. With that, we now dive into India's military evolution with a spotlight on the Tri-Services Coordination. Please welcome Lieutenant General V.M. Bhuvana Krishnan, PVSM, AVSM, YSM, currently Quartermaster General, to speak on Operation Sindoor, India's first truly Tri-Services war. Please give him a huge round of applause.
Good afternoon, everyone. A very proud and happy Independence Day to each one of you. It's an honor to be amongst all of you, and thanks, Mr. Arnab, for inviting me to represent the Indian Army over here. As an ancient civilization and a young nation, celebrates its Independence Day today, Conclave is very apt. A day of reflection and renewed pledge for each one of us. I shall touch upon briefly on nationalism, nation building, and Indian Army's role. And I shall take on questions at the end of my talk. What is nationalism? From my perspective, it's a sense of pride in shared history, values, beliefs, struggles rooted to an identified territory. Humankind lives on land, and land is the most cherished possession of mankind after his family and community. Shared history and shared struggles play a vital role in unifying a nation. Nationalism is a positive, attractive, and unifying force for good, and yet, if taken to extremes, could have negative fallouts and trigger counter-forces. Forging a nation and instilling a deep sense of positive nationalism is a multi-generational project. Just like a garden, it has to be tended and nurtured with care and attention while being ever watchful and remaining open to course corrections. We have to be vigilant against efforts to divide and weaken from both within and without. India, that is Bharat, as Article 1 of our Constitution articulates, is astounding in its diversity as much as its unifying threads, which course through its body powerfully. The cultural osmosis and absorptive character of our nation is amazing. We are by nature inclusivist and embrace the concept of Vasudeva Kudumbakam, the world is one family. Mahatma Gandhi, writing in Young India, said, "I want India's rise so that the whole world may benefit. I do not want India to rise on the ruins of other nations." A nation state is a modern concept which came about in the 19th century and is the way the world is largely organized today. A nation state is a living, throbbing organism with destiny in its own hands. The people maketh a nation. As I was traveling around one of the cities a few months back, I saw a bus emblazoned with a big caption, Mera Hak. It made me pause and reflect on what is then Mera Fars. Both rights and duties go hand in hand in building the sinews of our nation. We require a strong sense of commitment, passion, discipline, altruism, and humility towards the cause of our nation. Here, I would like to highlight the role and potential of the National Cadet Corps, the NCC, in instilling a sense of national service, pride, discipline, character, and ethos amongst the youth who are our future. The government has taken an excellent step to increase the strength of NCC from the current 10 lakhs to approximately 17 lakhs, and has increased the enrollments into NCC from the border districts across the country. We must be even more ambitious. For a nation of our size and population, we could strive for 1 crore NCC cadets across all districts and tehsils. Symbols and narratives play a powerful role in nation building. They must be well thought out to unify and build our nation. The Tiranga Jhanda is a powerful and persuasive symbol, and so is the soulful Jana Gana Mana, our national anthem, and Bharat Mata Ki Jai. The International Yoga Day, celebrated across the country and the world, is yet another. Cricket and cinema are also fine examples in this regard. Our scientists teachers, farmers, doctors and nurses, innovators, entrepreneurs, industrialists, community workers, athletes, para-athletes, and people from multiple walks of life from across the country give us so much hope and inspiration with their performance and unstinted commitment to the growth of our nation. Atmanirbhar, or self-reliance, is a clarion call for action to our nation and a national security imperative as well. Every citizen of our country, from every corner, must come to believe in the idea of our nation and have a solid stake in its progress and vitality. Now let me touch upon where I come from, that is the Indian Army, our nation's army, our people's army. The Indian Army is a microcosm of our nation. 1.5 million defense forces in a population of about 1.5 billion people, 1,000th of our total population. The Indian Defense Forces are a vibrant symbol of our nationalism and nationalistic spirit. Soldiers and officers hail from all parts and corners of our country and society and come to share the same values and beliefs. They serve shoulder to shoulder in the air, on the sea, and on the land, in the service of our nation, in some of the toughest geographies and high-risk missions. We live, eat, fight, and play together. The apostle of non-violence, the Mahatma, was amongst the first to exhort the Indian Army to defend Jammu and Kashmir against the invaders. We are determined to defend our nation to the hilt should anyone dare cast an evil eye on us. Operation Sindhu is a fine example of this commitment. A whole of armed forces, a whole of defense, and a whole of nation approach with deep military-civil fusion is the way forward in exponentially strengthening the defense and security of our nation. Our role of defending the borders and safeguarding the territorial integrity of our nation has taken our troops and officers to the far corners and interiors of our country, from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, Gujarat to Arunachal Pradesh, and to the island territories. This process creates a deep, abiding respect and appreciation of our nation's unity in diversity. And many of our veterans go on and back to their native roots and elsewhere to serve with the same spirit of commitment and nation building. The who's who of ultimate sacrifice etched in stone at our National War Memorial by a grateful nation is a testament to the spirit and unity of our country. For the defense personnel, our families, our regiments, and our nation form the bedrock of our strong support. Viksit Bharat and Viksit Sena symbolize the strength of our nation. On this Independence Day, our gratitude to our nation, our families, and more importantly, to our freedom fighters and their families for their sacrifices which made this day possible for each one of us. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Before we move on to our next session, we are running short on time, but we'll take one question. Just one question that we can take. Yes, Tanvi, thank you very much.
Sir, recognizing the fact that in a democracy, government calls the shots, am I audible, sir?
Not really, yeah.
Hello, am I audible now?
Yeah, better.
So recognizing the fact that in a democracy, the government calls the shots, irrespective of the fact whatever being said that free hand given to the armed forces, right? So my question is primarily when the armed forces is doing so much for the country, fighting wars on the borders, listening to the threats by the people of getting us nuked and whatever, blah, blah. Still the government takes a call on going on with the cricket match with Pakistan. At least until now, there has been no rebuttal of abandoning that match. How does the people in the army feel when such decisions happen? And before you answer, sir, I would like to tell you my perception on that. I come from a category whom the people call Andhbhakts, right? So I have tweeted it to the PM also that since no decision is being taken to withdraw from the upcoming match, so you leave us in a way like we are na ghar ke na ghat ke because our opponents taunt us. So that's what we want to understand, that how does the army feel about it?
Well, I think the government had given us a free hand, and I think the nation takes its call as to what we should do at different points in time. And therefore, I think both the armed forces and the nation are together in these decisions. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, sure. Yeah, please.
So we are so proud of our army, and we have seen recently, of course, many times we have seen the parakram of army. We have defeated a country like Pakistan multiple times. And recently we have shown the world what kind of power we are, even in military. So my question to you, because you are from army, sir, is that Indian army is so disciplined, but in Pakistan we have highly indisciplined, Mufata kind of, army chief. How these kinds of people go to that level, and what is the treatment they deserve? Do they have the right to live when they threaten the whole world, that too sitting in America, right? That we will annihilate the whole half of the world, including India. How these kind of people, go to this level, and what should be the treatment with them immediately?
Well,
because they are big, risk to the whole world.
Well, I think it's better to hold one's rhetoric when you are talking about other nations. And I think the statements made were in bad taste. And the only thing we would assure the nation is that the Indian Army would make its weapons talk when the time comes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. It was a great honor to have you here today with us. Thank you very much again. Ladies and gentlemen, moving on, our next speaker has been at the forefront of several socio-legal battles for India's civilization identity. He started his career with the Sri Ram Janmabhoomi case in Ayodhya, challenging the 2010 verdict of the Allahabad High Court. In 2011, assisting his father, Sri Hari Shankar Jain, in the case. He has also been at the forefront of fighting the legal battle for the Gyanvapi mosque, most of us who we know him for, and the whole nation is looking forward to that verdict. And today I want to welcome on stage Advocate Vishnu Shankar Jain, presenting Reclaiming India's Legacy. Please put your hands together for him.
A very good afternoon to all of you, and I'm very thankful and honored to be a part of this nationalist conclave, and it's a great honor and privilege to be here. So basically the idea is that whenever we fight all these litigations in the court, and today the issue is about nation first, whenever I ask a question to myself, and whenever I interact with a lot of youth who are practicing in the galleries of the Supreme Court, who are working in the Supreme Court, the question is that what did we achieve after a grand construction of Ram Temple on 24th of January 2024? 22nd January 2024. This entire journey of Ram Temple, which started from the suit which was filed by Gopal Singh Visharad in 1950, till the judgment delivered by the Supreme Court on 9th of November 2019, is a message, is a reflection of our entire civilization. This is an entire battle of Ram Temple, which started from 1950, which lasted till 2019, is a message that how civilizational battles continue decades and decades, and after 20th generation, on 22nd of January 2024, we got a Ram Temple. So it's the issue of our glory. It's an issue that what is the message which we are giving to the global world. It's an issue that what is the message which we are giving to a geopolitical world. The message is that this country, our nation, in our nation, our ethos, our culture, our privilege is Bhagwan Ram, Lord Shiv, Lord Hanuman, Lord Krishna. And therefore, if you are trying to destroy the cultural heritage of this country through constitutional means, through legal means, we will fight and reclaim each and every temple without any, you can say, without any violence, as well as through the pen. And this is a message which we want to give to the world, that pen is mightier than the sword. Now, a very interesting question arose when this entire issue of Ram Temple was going on, and why I am focusing in my today's talk about Ram Temple is because Ram Temple issue is an area where if you will look into the history and 5 years back, or rather 10 years back, we were told that this can never be solved. We were told that Ram Temple is a dead issue and this can never be solved. It's better to build a hospital or a college there. And the questions were asked that what will you achieve, what will you gain if you will build a Ram Temple? And the similar questions are asked that what will you achieve and what will you gain when you will restore Gyanvapi or Krishna Janmabhoomi? So the issue is very, very relevant. So far, when we are conceiving the idea of India, when we are conceiving the idea of Bharat, when we are conceiving the idea of nation first. So Ram Temple, according to me, in my understanding, is a Rashtra temple. It's a temple for the entire nation. And the Maryada of Lord Ram, on which entire civilization is continuing, that has been re-established in November 2019 when the Supreme Court delivered its a unanimous judgment. So a very interesting question arose during the hearing of the Supreme Court in Ram Temple case. And the issue was that the idols are not existing on the spot. The issue arose that there is no temple in the site in question. And at that point of time, my senior, Mr. Parasaran, and my senior, Mr. Harishankar Jain, they argued on first principles of Hindu law. 3 very authoritative books which are written on Hindu law. One by Mr. Gopal Chandra Shastri, the other is by Honorable Justice B.K. Mukherjee, as he then was a retired judge of the Supreme Court on Hindu law, as well as Mr. P.V. Karne has written Dharma Shastra in 7 volumes on Hindu law, and he has been awarded as Bharat Ratna for his work. In all these 3 books, there is a very precise, we can say, a justification and a very precise Shastric niyam, which has been formulated after years of studies. And the formulation is that even if you break the idol, even if you destroy the idol, the existence of the deity continues on the spot. The deity keeps on existing on the spot in the question in invisible form. So suppose an invader in the past, in the fervor of his ideas, destroyed a temple, destroyed an idol. But the question is that you can destroy the idol, you can destroy the temple, but you cannot destroy the existence of the deity, and the generations and generations will continue and say that this is the spot on which Ram Lalla was Virajman, and please restore us. And this Ram temple, this entire journey is a message to the entire world that through constitutional means, through legal means, we can achieve what a civilization deserves. We all remember, we all know that when the debate was going on in Ram temple case, how in 1528 an invader demolished our temple. What was the vow, what was the qasam which was taken by the invader Babar? And in that vow, he has demolished the temple. All those things which we all know. But the point, the legal issue which arose was that if the temple has been destroyed in the past, today what are the means, how will we recover it? And therefore, a very interesting judgment was passed, and a very, I think I can say it was a founding order which led to a final judgment in Ram temple case, was passed by Justice Sudhir Narayan of Allahabad High Court in 2002, wherein he directed the ASI survey of Ram temple. And I must clarify with lot of sense of responsibility today that आप जितने टीवी चैनल्स पर डिबेट सुनते होंगे, देखते होंगे, a very fake message is being propagated that there is no finding in the Ram temple judgment that there was a temple which was existing in the past. The Supreme Court very categorically, I am saying, the Supreme Court in Ram temple case on 2020 1 SCC page 1 in Ram Mandir judgment has categorically held that the structure which was existing was a non-Islamic structure. The structure which was existing. During the excavation, during the ASI survey, Lord Hanuman was found, Shivling was found, 14 Kasauti ke pillars were found, and so many things which were resonating, which were part of old Hindu sculptures, old Hindu architecture was found during the excavation. And let me also tell you, if you all recollect, that at that point of time, there was a lot of, you can say, lot of resistance. Therefore, the pits which were dug at that point of time were very limited pits. But during this recent development of Ram temple after 2019 judgment, more idols and more deities were recovered from the spot. So at that point of time, after having the complete ASI report, the Supreme Court has unanimously held that this entire structure which was existing was non-Islamic. By saying that it is non-Islamic, it meant that it is of other civilizations also, including the Hindus, Buddhists, and other civilizations. So just by saying that Ram temple, there is no finding of the Supreme Court that no pre-existing temple was destroyed is absolutely wrong. There is a very categorical judgment on this point, and therefore, the Honorable Supreme Court on 9th of November 2019 granted this particular order. One very important portion of law also has been developed, and finally which has, by virtue of Article 141 of the Constitution, it has attained finality. That is, that the existence of the deity continues, and Hindu deity is a juristic entity, and it has a right to sue, and it can be sued. So these are very important portions of Ram temple judgment which was delivered by the Supreme Court. And with the idea of nation first, with the idea of a civilization, I was, when I was having a conversation with my father, Sri Harishankar Jainji, that, and kindly see, this is such a beautiful issue which we all must understand as a civilization, that when Ram temple was destroyed in 1528, was there any message given by our ancestors that you go and recover the temple? It's a smriti, it's a culture, it's a civilizational battle which continued for 20 generations. So many people sacrificed their lives. So many people sacrificed their lives for restoration of Ram temple. So many people could not see the construction of Bhavya Ram temple. But after 20th generation, we are the lucky ones, we are the fortunate ones, that though the sacrifice which our ancestors gave, today we are seeing a Bhavya Ram temple which is existing at the site in question. And in the same manner, I understand that today in this conclave, we have a lot of intellectuals from the field of military, we have a lot of intellectuals from the field of geopolitical level, we have a lot of intellectuals from the field of academics. But kindly understand and appreciate that when we are talking about nation first, when we are talking about to build a nation, we must know that we cannot build a nation on the interest after sacrificing the interest of the majority community. Today in our nation, such laws have been enacted in the past where the interest of the majority community is at stake. For example, the Places of Worship Act 1991, for example, the Waqf Act 1995, which has been, as of now, stayed by the Honorable Supreme Court. The matter was heard in the Honorable Supreme Court in the month of May, and the judgment had to be delivered so far as the interim order was concerned, but till date, the judgment has not been delivered. So these are very important civilizational issues. And I am very shocked, and as an officer of the court, as well as a soldier of the Supreme Court, I feel lot of pain when I see that in the Supreme Court, instead of having a large debate on these constitutional issues, one of our focus areas is that whether the retired Chief Justice of the Supreme Court has vacated the bungalow. Today we are focusing on those issues. So Supreme Court is concerned, is known as a court of the Constitution, is known for its constitutional verdicts, and today, after about 4 years in the Supreme Court, there is no stand which is taken on the Places of Worship Act. Today, after so many years of legal struggle, there is no stand which is taken on the Waqf Act 1995, and these are very important issues. Today, before the Supreme Court, the National Commission on Minority Act is under challenge, under question. Today, before the Supreme Court, the members of the majority community are saying that within our national framework, against the principles of the Constitution, a majority community is getting violated on the basic principles of law. That has to be heard. Today, before the Supreme Court, we are saying that the shivling which is existing in Gyanvapi, that is a shivling, that is a shivling, that is a shivling. It is not a fountain, it is not a fountain, it is not a fountain. We are asking, see, on 16th of May 2022, on Buddha Purnima, on Monday, we found the shivling. And at that point of time, immediately the Civil Justice Senior Division had sealed that area. And why I am raising this issue of shivling in Gyanvapi? Because this is the root of this entire civilization. We cannot imagine a nation without a Gyanvapi. We cannot imagine a nation without a Krishna Janmabhoomi. We cannot imagine a nation without Bhoshala. We cannot imagine a nation without our temples. We cannot imagine a nation without the Hindu civilization. This entire nation will not be a nation, will not be secular if Hindus are not in majority. This nation is only secular because Hindus are in majority. And that's why I'm raising this issue on this, before this August gathering, on the issue of Gyanvapi and the shivling. On 16th of May 2022, we found the shivling in the Gyanvapi. And it is not that we just said that it's a shivling. We confirmed it, we believed on our conviction, and we said it's a shivling. The Honorable Civil Justice Senior Division sealed that shivling on the same day, on 16th of May 2022. Therefore, the matter traveled to the Supreme Court directly. From the order of civil judge, directly the matter traveled to the Supreme Court. My Lord Honorable Justice D.Y. Chandrachud, as he then was, on first time in the Indian legal history, the order of Civil Justice Senior Division was subsumed in the order of the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court said that that area will be kept sealed. After that, we said that let the shivling be excavated without even touching it. There can be an ASI survey of the shivling. Therefore, we can know that whether it's a shivling or a fountain. The Allahabad High Court gave a landmark verdict so far as the ASI survey of the shivling area was concerned, and that judgment was ultimately stayed by the Supreme Court of 19th of May 2023. And till date, despite repeated requests, despite repeated applications, that issue of ASI survey of shivling is still stayed by the Supreme Court. So the question is that today we have punished Nupur. But the question is that the question which was raised at that point of time, and the entire country was in a debate that whether it's a shivling or a fountain. You must be shocked to know that which were the persons who approached the Supreme Court. It was a community which said that it's a fountain. They only approached the Supreme Court and got a stay over the judgment of the Allahabad High Court. If they were so much thorough with their research, and if they believed that what they are saying is a fountain, then there should have been an ASI survey of that area, that structure which we found on 16th of May 2022. And it's out of 12 Jyotirlings, 5 Jyotirlings are Swayambhu. And out of 5 Jyotirlings, the very first Jyotirling is Gyanvapi. And therefore, this is a root, and it is very, very necessary that we get it recovered. अभी रिसेंटली मैं अपनी फैमिली के साथ सोमनाथ टेम्पल गया था. अगर आप सब लोग सोमनाथ टेम्पल गए होंगे तो सोमनाथ टेम्पल में आपने देखा होगा दैट देयर इज अ एरो विच सेज दैट यहां से लेके पृथ्वी के साउथ पोल तक एक कण भी नहीं है जमीन का, और ये 7th सेंचुरी में वहां पे लगाया गया था. अब मैं पूछना चाहता हूं सारे लोगों से, सारे बुद्धिजीवियों से, ये बताइए 7th सेंचुरी में क्या कोई सैटेलाइट थी? कैसे पता चला था हमारे पूर्वजों को कि यहां से लेकर पृथ्वी के अंत तक जमीन का एक कण भी नहीं है? और इसीलिए these temples are not just temples. These temples are a symbol of our civilization. These temples are a symbol and a message of cultural unity. These are the temples by which we all grow. These are the temples by which we get energy. And the center of energy, let me tell you, is Gyanvapi. The center of energy is Krishna Janmabhoomi. And these are most pious things which have to be reclaimed. And the legal battle and struggle is going on before the Supreme Court and the High Court. Every day we are fighting, we are continuously fighting against these odds. But the question is that whenever we fight against these odds, our entire battle, there is an entire group which tries to paint our battle with a brush of communal flavor. It is not a question of communal favor. It is not a battle. It is not a question of Hindus or Muslims. It is a question that it's completely legal. And these questions which are today before the court and before all of you is completely having lot of research. With lot of sense of responsibility, I am saying that these are the questions which do not have any emotions. So far as court of law is concerned, these are the questions which are pending in the court of law, has lot of research, Shastric research it has historical research, it has documentary evidences, it has oral evidences, it has archaeological survey of India evidences, and therefore, so far as Gyanvapi Bhojshala is concerned, in these two sites, through detailed archaeological survey, in Gyanvapi the ASI report was of 90 days, and on Republic only on the first time the ASI report was broken with Mr. Arnab Goswami. He had broken that report as to what are the conclusions of the ASI so far as the Gyanvapi is concerned. In Bhojshala, after 99 days of survey, a categorical report has come. And let me tell you, the report of Bhojshala and Gyanvapi, so far as principles of law are concerned, so far as academic interest is concerned, is better than the report which was given in Ram Temple. So therefore, it has lot of research, it has lot of meaning to it. And when we are conceiving about an idea of Bharat, when we are conceiving about an idea of India, it is very, very important that we talk about the discrepancies, we talk about the discrimination which is there in the law, which is existing as on today. And therefore, I mentioned certain acts of parliament which are still existing, which are still there in the statute books. We must be aware of our rights, our issues. And the last issue which I want to flag, and then I will rest my conversation, is, please, I request all of you that please have a look. And as a society, we must all think about the Pakistani refugees who have come, Pakistani Hindu refugees who have come from Pakistan. Some of them are staying in shelter homes in Majnu Ka Tila. Some of them are staying in shelter homes in various parts of the country. But their situation is very, they are in a very, very bad situation. And as a society, as a community, We all must help them. मैं अभी रिसेंटली अपने इस पूरे एडवोकेट के करियर के दौरान अभी कुछ दिनों पहले मेरे से कुछ पाकिस्तानी हिंदू जो वहाँ से विस्थापित होकर यहाँ पे आए, मुझसे मिलने आए, और उन्होंने मुझे बताया कि कितनी बुरी स्थिति में वो आज यहाँ पे रह रहे हैं और क्या उन्होंने ताड़ना प्रताड़ना वहाँ पे झेली है। तो जो आज हम लोग का टॉपिक है, आज अगर आज वी मस्ट बी प्राउड एज अ नेशन, वी मस्ट बी प्राउड एज अ सोसाइटी दैट जब वो लोग वहाँ से यहाँ पे भारत में आए हैं, इतनी ताड़ना प्रताड़ना झेल के भी वो आज सिर्फ इसलिए खुश हैं क्योंकि वो इस यहाँ की सरजमीन में है। कम से कम अभी उनकी बहन बच्चियों के साथ बलात्कार नहीं हो रहा है, सिर्फ इसलिए खुश है। पर इस समय हमारी ड्यूटी है एज अ सोसाइटी, एज अ कम्युनिटी, अपने उन भाइयों की मदद करने की जो वहां से बद से बदतर जिंदगी जी के आए हैं, और जिन लोगों को बहुत सारी बातें जो एक एकेडमिक इंटरेस्ट की हैं, वो जब उनसे मिलेंगे तो उन्हें समझ में आएगा कि ग्राउंड लेवल पे क्या हो रहा है, किस तरह से वहां पे भारी मात्रा में रेप किया गया उनकी आंखों के सामने, और आज वो वहां से अपनी इज्जत आबरू बचा के आए हैं और अभी भी उनके पास जॉब्स नहीं है, लाइवलीहुड नहीं है, शेल्टर्स नहीं है, जहां पे रह रहे हैं वहां पे हटाने के ऑर्डर्स किए जा रहे हैं कि यहां पे आप इलीगल रह रहे हैं। तो एज अ सोसाइटी, एज अ कम्युनिटी, व्हेन वी आर डेवलपिंग द आइडिया ऑफ इंडिया, हमें उन सारे लोगों को इंटीग्रेट करने की जरूरत है। सिटीजनशिप अमेंडमेंट एक्ट में हमने 2014 तक उनको नागरिकता दी है, पर 2014 के बाद भी करीब 1 करोड़ से ऊपर पाकिस्तानी हिंदू वहां से विस्थापित होकर आए हैं। उनको भी हमें मेन स्ट्रीम में इंटीग्रेट करने की, अपने भाइयों की तरह रखने की बहुत ज्यादा जरूरत है। तभी जाके हमारा जो आइडिया ऑफ इंडिया है, तभी जाके हमारा जो आइडिया है नेशन फर्स्ट, वो कंप्लीट होगा। क्योंकि वो लोग जिन्होंने अपने धर्म के आधार पे वहां पे ह्यूमिलेशन झेला है, आज उनको मेन स्ट्रीम में इंटीग्रेट करने की बहुत ज्यादा जरूरत है। आप लोगों ने मुझे इतनी धैर्यतापूर्वक सुना। आई एम रियली ग्रेटफुल एंड थैंकफुल, and Jai Hind and Namaskar to all of you.
Thank you, Vishnuji. That was a very insightful session. I think one thing that we're going to take away from your address today, where you said that you can always ignore an idol, but you cannot ignore his existence. Thank you very much, sir. Beautiful session there. With that, we move on, and I request all our guests or our viewers who've come here to watch us to please be seated. There are many more sessions that have been lined up. And I request you to please put your phones on silent mode. With that, we move forward, ladies and gentlemen. Our next speaker is a veteran from the Special Forces, known for both valor and insight. He says his mission is to inspire, educate, and equip people with the mindset and skills that are needed to excel. Whether you're getting ready to serve the motherland, leading from the front in your current role, or just adopting to a military attitude for success in your everyday challenges in your everyday life. With over 2 decades of experience in the Indian Army Special Forces, he is here today with us to share the essential lessons that can help you reach your goals with discipline and resilience. Yes, I am talking about none other than, and please welcome on stage Colonel Shivendra Pratap Singh Kanwar, who will speak on nationalism in New India, building a battle-ready nation. Thank you very much, sir. The stage is all yours.
Are you able to hear me at the back?
It's not working? No, it's not working, yeah. At the outset, I would like to thank Republic TV for inviting me for this nationalist conclave. It's a very heartwarming kind of feeling for me, because the speakers over here have talked about nationalistic fervor. I will tell you, I come from a clan of warriors. My forefathers, I'm the 4th generation in the army, so it was never by chance that I ended up in the army. And I chose to be a Special Forces soldier and an officer for very specific reasons. Because majority of you over here are young, I will draw corollaries from what I learned in the Special Forces my dreams as a young man, what I learned over time in my service career, and now, how do I implement those in my time as an entrepreneur, as a budding entrepreneur, learning throughout the way. The Special Forces training is the hardest training known to man. You can be best of cricketers, athletes, you can be anything. But the point which needs to be understood is you perform, your body and mind performs well when it is given two things. A lot of things to train on and a lot of rest and nutrition. In the Special Forces, the last two things are taken off. So when you perform a job, when you perform a mission, there are no retakes, there are no second chances. You are inside a battle zone of your own. We were 2 squads. A squad is the smallest unit of a Special Forces unit. 6 guys. Trained in weapons, trained in explosives, trained in navigation. It's a self-contained fighting unit which can survive any onslaught. We were 2 squads deployed in South Kashmir. I'm not telling it, it's not a story, it's a reality which I tell you now. When you talk of brotherhood, when you talk of nationalist conclave, you must understand where I come from. How do you feel like losing the men? In South Kashmir, it was 2 decades back. I was a young lieutenant with 23 years of age and around 5-6 months of service. Till the time you're not blooded, till the time you have not killed a terrorist, you're not given the Special Forces badge in Special Forces. You need to earn it, and you need not earn it. My father was a Jammu and Kashmir Rifles officer. I volunteered for Special Forces. You don't get it as your parental claim. You need to earn that maroon after undergoing training. So coming back to the story. So we have 2 squads, one led by a junior commissioned officer and self in 1 squad. It was a generic input. Village happened to be someplace in South Kashmir. 2 decades back, it was raining fire in J&K. What you see now, it's still mellowed on. It's because of the security forces. What the situation we see is, it's still very normal, I would say. So we went for the operation, and what happened was that of that generic input, because we always operated in very few numbers, we went straight away to search the houses. There was no Rashtra Rifle support for us. There was nothing. We went, 1 squad went under the JCO to 1 house, and I went to the other house. When I called out the house owner outside, he told me there are 2 terrorists inside. With those 6 men, whatever I could muster, I put the inner cordon and stops. We didn't have the luxury of inner or outer cordon or a lot of people, because Special Forces operate like that. It's not a traditional infantry unit with a lot of strength. So we did that thing, and if you see the demography or the pattern of layout of the village in J&K, you'll find especially in built-up areas, the houses are so close that even if you're trying to cordon 1 house, you need to cordon 3 houses. So with only 6 guys, we did that. When I was placing the scouts and came back to the position, I was behind a boundary wall where I was aiming for the windows or wherever the terrorists might come from. The terrorists opened the window and they fired indiscriminately. So there, a boundary wall in front of me, I retaliated with the fire. They jumped out of the window and approached me. I fired back. They turned their direction and went towards 5 meters away where my buddy was. Because my primary arc of weapon went towards his direction, I was supposed to stop the fire. I stopped it, but I could not see the response of my buddy firing back at him. In the meantime, the terrorist climbed that boundary wall because it was a small one, and then they vanished into the field behind, and then there was a river, and then I went on the spot and checked. My buddy was shot straight in the head. He was wearing a bulletproof patka. At that time, it was bulletproof patka. Now it is ballistic helmets. It was shot through the head, and 16 bullets were there. Even if I was wearing a BP plate, 16 bullets were there on the on his chest. He died on the spot. If you go back in a moment, this was the guy who has slept in the same sleeping bag. He made food for me, served the food for me. He was 21 years of age. I was 23. A month back, he had got married. And this man sacrificed his life that day. Imagine a person, 23 years of age, seeing all these things happen. That day, I wanted to burn half of that village down where this operation was happening. So what you need to understand is there are people who see extreme combat. And extreme combat is not at all glamorous. The most important thing it teaches you is compassion. I lost that guy. I've lost men on mountaintops. I've lost men in streets. I've lost men in alleys. It's not a punchline. I'm still telling you, because you must understand the person who gives his life for people who don't even know that people are existing over there, protecting themselves every single day. You must have gratitude towards life. You must have gratitude towards people who are doing this for you. As young people, now we deviate to the present scenario. As young people, you must have outlandish dreams. I wanted to join army only to join the special forces. There was no other thing I could think of. I wanted to see combat. I wanted to climb mountains. I wanted to jump from an aircraft. That is the way I wanted to lead my life. That was my goal in life. For you people, as nationalists and being patriotic, even if you're not in the forces, follow your dreams. Dreaming big is the key to your success. Don't think, and one more important thing on that is that it has to be your dream. It cannot be your father's dream, it cannot be your brother's dreams, it cannot be your friend's dream. I wanted to join special forces. In my house, I'm the fourth generation. All three prior to me, my great-grandfather served in the British Army, my grandfather served in the British Army, my father served in the Indian Army. All were infantarians, the people who walk. My two sisters, they both are married to army officers. They both are infantarians. And as a good father, my father told me never join the special forces because the rest of your life you will be climbing mountains only. The point I'm trying to bring is, I joined army for passion. For you, it is important to follow passion. It was not a job for me. The day I finished my command, I knew the rifle, the assault rifle which we hold as special forces, my direct contact with troops is gone. I was not going to do anything about that anymore. It was my time to call it quits. So kindly have dreams which are big enough. Again, the second point on this, we have talked about unabashed patriotism. It should run through your blood. It should not be on the eve of Independence Day or Republic Day. You need to breed it. Even if you're not in the forces, try and serve the nation in whatever you are doing. You are young. You are right now at the stage of your life where you must take chances. I took chances in life and joined the special forces. I want you to take chances and become an entrepreneur, not do a job. I will tell you what is the reason behind it. I am myself an entrepreneur. I had great aversion of taking orders in the army. I found it difficult to take orders. I found it difficult. That's just me. So when I left the army, I knew as a traditional veteran, people will join a resettlement course, go over there, do whatever courses, that is their job. I wanted to build a business. I ventured into entrepreneurship. One thing I would like to tell you about dreaming big is about setbacks and failures. Being from an army background, I failed my SSB twice. I cleared it in third attempt. I am the only officer of the Indian Army who has done 3 probations. And let me tell you one thing very categorically, 1 day of a Special Forces probation is equivalent to 1 year. I did it, first I failed, then I went to a unit, I did the probation, had my differences, come back, then I went to 7 para special forces, which I finally commanded. So when you dream big, there will be failures. You must take them in your life. Without extraordinary efforts, you will not achieve extraordinary results. So you need to slog. There is no book, there is no pamphlet, there is no précis in the army which tells you to kill a militant. There is nothing. It just gives a SOP. This is how things are to be done. Operations are like this, this. It is your buddy, it is your seniors who tell you that when you're going inside a room, might be the primary weapon fails, so your hand should automatically go to the secondary weapon. Where it is to be kept, how a shoelace has to be tied, he tells you, no book tells you that. So once you are growing in life, where I'm coming to is do community development, build. If you are a 4th year student, if you are a senior, empower your person who is in 1st year. It is your moral responsibility to give it back to the first generation. That is how countries grow. That is how economies grow. That is how you are supposed to give. Give it back. If I had so much of knowledge, being a Special Forces veteran, and I don't give it back to the next generation, we are losing and we are dividing a great thing which I learned in the army. Become entrepreneurs. Why I tell you, why I am on a mission to make 1 crore entrepreneurs. I will tell you my story. Failures in this also. I went to London for a close protection officer's course. That was the only transferable skills I could think I could gauge from my 20 years in the army, 18 and a half in the Special Forces. I went. I have not seen anybody going to London for a close protection. It's a niche course. I came back to India. There were Special Air Service guys, there was Green Berets, there were Navy SEALs, there was whole lot of Special Forces guys doing that course. We did that course, came back to India. I did some work over there. Came back and opened my company of close and executive protection. In India, we loosely term as bodyguards. There's no bodyguards, there's no bouncers in the world market. In India, it's still an unorganized sector. So even if I have to stand as a close protection operative in place like London or something, I need a 3 weeks course. I need a license. In India, an ex-veteran will just have a weapon and he will come and stand by you. I'm telling you, this is the truth. Half of my Special Forces regiment does this. So when I came back, I opened that job. I opened that company. Because I could understand the nitty-gritties of how a close protection has to be done. It's a science in itself. I kept my prices high. Not even a single client I could get. Because normal people will pay 50,000, 40,000 for a close protection operative. I was charging 1.25 lakh. Lesson of the life. Either you will compromise on your quality or you will come back or you do what the norm is doing. Don't follow the norm. Try and change it. Why I tell you about following your dreams and becoming an entrepreneur is give your job back. I am where I am. Whatever social media happens to me by chance. It's not a forayed adventure or a misadventure or a career for me. It has never been. It's just happened to be. I happened to be on few podcasts. made some YouTube videos. It's just happening. It's proliferating. I'm not stopping it. But the point what I'm trying to tell you is build and empower people. You can be the greatest entrepreneur in this world. You might be Harvard educated, you might be having everything. You kindly go to US. You want a life over there, do it. But at least something, do a startup in India where people can get employed. It is how you give it back to this great nation. This is how you will develop this country. Invest in technologies, invest in manufacturing, services we are good at. I will tell you a simple example. A Tavor assault rifle is a Israelis weapon industries made weapon which is a prime weapon of all the special forces in the country. Whether it is Marcos, Garud, special forces, name other few, maybe some weapons, but this is the prime mainstay. It is their weapon. The holographic sites, the ecosystem, build everything. You build so many things. Drones are being built, but the microchips and the components are coming from China. You will always be held, like you will always be looking for things. The navigation which we do use all kind of GPSs in the world. If Google stops it, it's a US Navy proprietorship. You can't do. Then you come back to the normal method of compass and everything. Build, own. And once you are into manufacturing, once you are into technology, invest into this thing. And final word, I would like to say that invest in your fitness. It's of paramount importance. The Honorable Prime Minister, in his Man Ki Baat, says about obesity being an epidemic. It's reality. He says about cutting on oily food. I would take a step further and say, move out and start having fitness in life. Move out. Move outdoors, run, jog, swim. Do something in which you are physically fit. In Special Forces, the first parade of the day, which starts at 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, is a physical fitness. If I can't reach my target, there is no point being a Special Forces operative. If you are not fit, you can be the greatest person on it. It should be embedded and make a lifestyle change. Don't be just for a particular phase of your life. Okay, New Year is coming, we'll make a resolution. Go for it, finish it. I have received this much of weight is to be reduced, come back. The Honorable Prime Minister says to make this nation developed by 2047, it should not be his and his only dream. It has to be the dream of everyone sitting here in this auditorium. Every person has to contribute. If you are not contributing towards that, you are not building communities, you are not building businesses, you are not giving it back to the nation. Here we are. We can talk till the cows come back home. But we will not be able to develop as a nation. People will come and bully us. They will say something. We'll do. And we have to just listen and do it. This is all I have to say. Anything. And wishing you all a very great Independence Day. May God bless you all and may you have a great life. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. An excellent session there. And before we move forward to our other guest, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to announce our sponsors for the evening. This third Nationalist Conclave has been co-powered by Gallant TMT, Rebars and Cement, Nirman Ka Real Hero, JK Tire, Desh Ka Tire, Apna Jobs, India's leading job apps. Thank you very much, sir. Request our audience to again, please be seated. Please take your seat. We have two more guests lined up before we end this conclave, and very interesting sessions ahead. We are moving forward now to the next guest that we have lined up for you on this edition, ladies and gentlemen. Next up is a prolific author and commentator who has shaped narratives on leadership in the Indian politics. He is the founder of the Ramayana School, which explores life lessons from Ramayana today in these modern times. Please welcome Shantanu Gupta, who will be decoding the essence of Bharatiya. Sir, the stage is all yours. Thank you very much for being here with us today.
Namaskar, everyone. Am I audible? Okay. I think, first of all, thanks to Arnab Goswami, thanks to the phenomena called Republic that he has created over years. I think what I delve for next 10-15 minutes is the modus operandi of the opposition, of the West, of the left, or whoever you think is the opposition. Their modus operandi is that make the Indians, the Sanatanis, the Hindus feel low about them, right? Make them feel low about their self-esteem. If they wear a dhoti kurta, if Shantanu wear a dhoti kurta or a tika, are aap to sangi hai. You are a majoritarian, right? I'll quote an example. In 2023, I was doing a fellowship in Oxford. And the session was on secularism. And the college I was in, the name of the college was St. Cross College. And the room I was in, St. Cross Room. And there was a picture of Jesus Christ there. So I just objected to the teacher that, are we really studying secularism here? And I just pointed out to the statue. She did not realize what I'm saying. It was a small classroom. She said, no. She tried to kid me. No, it's not about this classroom. It's a larger debate. But I said, yesterday I saw an official church of University of Oxford. She said, no, it's not about Oxford. I said, you have 32 colleges. And every college has a chapel. When I go to the website of the college, I can see when is my physics class. I can also see when is the mass. Every college has a chaplain. Every college has a mass group. So are we really studying secularism here? She again tried to kid me. No, you are getting stuck in like normal like the logistics. Then I asked her. Last week, then we went to the parliament. He said, your country has official church. And they call Narendra Modi is a Hindu Prime Minister, Yogi Adityanath is a Hindu Chief Minister. Do you know, I don't know how many of you know, just raise your hand. In the upper house of UK Parliament, like Rajya Sabha of us, they call House of Lords, they have 22 positions reserved for the priests of Church of England. Can you imagine that? It's almost equivalent to, tomorrow Narendra Modi says, we have 13 akhadas, which came to Kumbh recently. And from all the 13 akhadas, I am giving this choice to akhadas. They can appoint 2 people and they will all by default go to Rajya Sabha. Oh my God, heavens will fall if that declaration will happen tomorrow, right? And the people who are from Oxfords and Cambridges are teaching me secularism. In their upper house, they have 22 positions reserved from time immemorial, and we are fine with it. And they are teaching us. Have you seen the oath from Trump to Obama to Biden? They took oath on Bible. And if my Prime Minister goes to Kashi, he'll say, no, it's a Hindu Prime Minister. That's a Hindu Prime Minister. So I'm saying this hypocrisy is very, very interesting. I don't know how they live with this hypocrisy. So they took us as a fellowship. We met the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak was the Prime Minister then. Then they took us to the Defense Ministry, their Defense Ministry, right? They say, don't look India-UK relationship with the lens of the colonialism. And that's a very typical statement you'll hear in any UK session. And we were coming from the Trafalgar Square, if some of you are aware of London geography. And in Trafalgar Square, you have this big, large statues of all the lords and viceroys. And you know what's the placard there? He won Punjab for us. He won XX Madras for us. I'm saying, at one place, at Trafalgar Square, you are celebrating your colonial past, and you are saying just a mile away from there, no, don't judge us with the lens of secularism, the lens of colonialism, right? So when I started seeing this blatant hypocrisy, I'm saying, and it was so obvious. Let's say one argument you'll say, they came, it was not a Christian military, they came only for expansion, it was just a colonial expansion. Then I went to a couple of the churches in North, in Scotland and Edinburgh. There were a lot of viceroys, if you remember, they came from the upper region of UK. And in all the churches, the name of the army men of that time have written, like obituaries, okay, these men went from there. I said, why inside a church? While you'll write the obituary of army men in large placards after placards inside a church, and there is no other, like, it's very simple to connect that it was a church's army, that's all, right? And then came Diwali. I was in September, November period, and it was very, very interesting and funny incident that happened. I made it a little funny. See, it's like a country which has hardly have any events, right? Like they have a Christmas and Easter, and that's all. It's a cold country, it's raining every time. So they keep looking for events. So when Diwali came, they said, okay, we have a Diwali dinner. Okay, and you have to subscribe for it, you have to pay 10 pounds, and a couple of Indians, so maybe 20, 30 Indians, and 300 people came, like largely foreigners, right? And they start every dinner with a grace. It's like a Christian verse, and then they took a wooden hatauda type, and they say, okay, let's start the dinner. I have attended one such dinner a week back, so I knew that that procedure going to happen. I saw that hammer also and that book at the head table, right? So I thought, okay, because I was in a fellowship, no strings attached, no PhD, no master's, no scholarship, and foreign ministry sent it. I'm so it's fine, they can't harm me much. I said, I went to the dean of the college, a lady, Kate. I said, are we going to do that grace? He said, yeah, that's like a normal thing. So I pointed out to a bunch of Indians who were standing far. I doubt they only came for a booze there. I said, I think they may take offense. That's a Christian game. It's a Hindu festival. It's not like a normal dinner. And interestingly, about British people, they get very like jittery about the law and the norms and the rules and hurting other people, right? If you push it formally. So the Hindu community people may take offense if you read a Christian grace. He said, and then she went inside, outside, talked to the chairman, and said, then what should we do? Shall we not read the grace? No, I'm saying, you read a Hindu grace? So she said, do we have a Hindu grace? I'm saying, yeah, we have a Bhojan mantra, we read it, that's very common. Then she went inside, outside, and said, okay, what's a Hindu grace? I said, this is the Hindu grace. What does it mean? I said, does it mean like you eat the food is Brahma? I said, and then she started reading it. She was not able to read it. She was not able to pronounce it. Though I gave the English transliteration, she was not able to pronounce it. And so who will read it? I'm saying, I'll read it. So she put me to the head table, and she said, okay, it's Diwali, it's like good over evil, and now Shantanu, the shivering fellow, will do the Hindi grace and say, Brahmarpan Brahmavi Brahmanganam Brahmatam Brahmantingantam Brahma Samadhinam Sena Bhavatu, and I did the Hindu grace, right? And then I realized, and I asked, like, this Diwali festival is happening for quite some time, and said, did we ever did it before? And I asked the pastor, and said, no. Then I realized from my secularism conversation to my conversation in the parliament that many times we did not even call the shots. We did not pull the farce, right? It's a basic farce. And so I asked a lot of students, sir, मेरी तो PhD की thesis, sir, guide मुझे, sir, if I create a farce, मेरी scholarship बंद हो जाएगी. Sir, I came on that scholarship. Sir, my PhD guy is a white guy. He may not agree to it. So a lot of people are just under this, my PhD thesis, my scholarship, and rightly so. I'm not saying everybody can rebel rouser, but I'm saying very small strings when I started pulling in that 4 or 5 months fellowship, and their argument was started falling flat. In one more class, I remember the professor's name was Philip Gates, right? And he came to the class. He said, my name is Philip Gates, and I'm not related to Bill Gates. And it was like a normal joke. And then there was a fellow professor, and then for the next 5 minutes, they were talking about Gates family, this family, and we come from that clan, this clan. And next day was the parliament day, and the parliament, when they have 22 positions reserved in the upper house, House of Lords, they have 22 positions reserved for the Church of England, they have 90+ positions reserved for the high blood, they call it, from Duke of England, from Duke of Newcastle. And they call it us castists. Can you imagine that? This is happening today. If you go to parliament, there are 90+ positions reserved for high blood. There are 22 positions reserved for Church of England. And this is happening where Oxfords and Cambridges of the world are teaching, no. We can be like this, but you have to be secular. Your prime minister has to be secular, but we will be like this. And this is happening. Yeah. Some more experiences. Okay, yeah, then they say, okay, you guys are against women. I'm saying, okay, you don't have in India, for all the 3 mighty powers, we have goddesses, not the gods. For Shakti, we have a goddesses. For Vidya, we have a goddesses. We have a goddess. And for money, for prosperity, we have a goddess. They have no argument. In fact, in one class, I said, like, I went to a place called Lewis, and I realized, and also, if you know, Thames was at one point called Black River, and it was black because of shit. They did not have proper toilets. Only thing, because of the looted money, they developed so fast, they developed so fast that they were able to erase their past of 60, 70 years. And when I see Sanjeev ji was talking about Chola Empire, toilets, sewages, are very, very common 1,000 years back, 2,000 years back. When people were not knowing how to wear clothes, we were not far away from in Kurukshetra, we were discussing a very philosophical text called Bhagavad Gita. Because I think in the last 1,000 years, they have looted us so much from our wealth and intellectual wealth, we have made to believe, okay, we are this country which is casteist, which is a communal, which has bad road, which has cows on the street, which has dogs on the streets. Dogs on the streets probably no more after the Supreme Court verdict. And then after a lot of such interaction, I started talking to a lot of kids that, and I also didn't know, in fact, one animator told me that the first time animals were talking in a story, animals talking in a story is a very common thing, right? Like your jungle books and all. It started by Vishnu Sharma in Panchtantra, right? They will tell you they gave you the language, but then when you read Panini, in Ashtadhyayi, he gives you the rules of grammar. What's a word, what's a verb, what's a composite sentence, he gave you all the elements. When you read about Shusruta and Charak and Patanjali, they gave you the basic medication. A lot of surgery books still start with, a lot of Western surgery books still start with the quotation of Sushrut. Only thing we have forgotten, if you search on internet who is the father of modern surgery, you will get some fancy British name or English name, right? Only thing now we have to push it back. First of all, we have to remember it and we have to push it back and learn it back, right? But I think lucky thing is the times have changed. Times have changed, and last 10 years, I was seeing one of the sponsors, Gallant. In fact, I was in their house last week. And to your surprise, I don't know, many of, apart from the people from Republic might not be knowing, it's a 5,000 crore rupees revenue company. It's in steel and bars. And they're based in Gorakhpur. Can you imagine that? They're based in Gorakhpur. They started in Gorakhpur. And the proprietor, Chanduji is called, Chandra Prakash Agarwal. He started as an Adatiya in a mandi. Like in a small galla shop in a mandi. And then he moved on to flour mill, then he moved on to steel, and then 2006 he went public, and now he's a 4,000 crore rupees company. So I think times have changed, we have seen that from books to movies to TV channels to some phenomena like Republic, from rebuttals, from someone like, in bureaucracy, someone like Sanjeev Sanyal, in army we have amazing set of people, when you have lawyers like Vishnu Jain, we are reclaiming our ground. We are reclaiming our ground, and we should know it how we are doing it. Right? I think, to my mind, when I was debating Ram Mandir and Republic story or Aziz story in 2017-18, I always said it's a TV debate. It'll start as a TV debate, it'll end as a TV debate. But today we are sitting when Ram Mandir is there, 370 is abolished, many temple corridors are coming, we have CA, we have UCC, light of UCC coming, we are the 4th largest economy. When I go to US and UK, they're still rubbing those cards in and out, ki sir, ye nahi chalega, wo nahi chalega. While talking, I can quickly transfer 10,000 rupees to my wife, sitting just here, right? We have the most advanced system, and we have TV channels as big as Republic. My friend, my physics wala, they just bought a big car, and when they bought the big car, it first go to temple. And the next day I saw the Chandrayaan was going up, and a lot of parts, the scientists took them to Tirupati. So I think this is a very interesting combination, and which West is not able to digest. See, the whole world is Islamic or Christian. For them, it's a subscription war. And we are kind of a sore in the eye. Ye kaun log hain yaar? Ye kya hai? What is this ajeeb country, right? Where they can go to Chandrayaan also, and they still do some cult kind of pujas, which we can't understand. So we are kind of becoming sour in the eye. And we are still the 3rd, 4th largest economy and vying for the 5th stop. I think with this phenomena, which I noticed in Ayodhya on 22nd January 2024, that how times have changed and how elements have changed. So I was doing the commentary with NDTV that time, and all the channels have made their sets next to the Saryu, right? In the Ram Ki Peri, there was a cement structure, and all the channels, it was all TV channels there. And in the river, government has made an arrangement of large screens where you can watch while it's happening, right? While the Prime Minister, the Chief Minister, the Governor are doing the ceremony. And we didn't know the statue, it was a curtain there. And as the statue, as the curtain was unveiled, we all saw that beautiful statue of Ram Lalla. We all were teary-eyed, and a beautiful thing happened then. A helicopter flew by the government, and it was showering rose petals on all the people who were standing near the ghats. And next to me was Saryu, and a lot of flowers, a bunch of flowers fell there, and the bed next to me was red. And it gave me a juxtaposition that this is not the first time Saryu became red. Saryu became red in 1990s also with the blood of Ram Bhakts when Mulayam Singh Yadav shot at them. Saryu became red again with the flower petals showered at them. So that's why then I realized times have changed. And with this, I want to end what Prime Minister said. It's a long couplet. I'll just read the first line, that yahi samay hai, sahi samay hai, Bharat ka anmol samay hai. And to all the young people here, I think just capture this sahi samay and take wings and join this bandwagon. And there cannot be a better time than this to do anything individual, anything nationalistic. Thank you.
A splendid session there, Shantanu ji. Thank you very much. And with that, we move on to our last session, and a session that I have been personally waiting for, eagerly waiting for. Our next speaker, ladies and gentlemen, is a guest who is a man of courage and sacrifice from the elite special action group of the NSG, a man who has served at the very front line of India's security, paying tribute to our nation's unflinching patriotism. Please welcome retired Colonel Rajiv Bagga as he speaks on bravery, sacrifice and patriotism. Sir, thank you very much. The stage is all yours.
I hope we all are not tired. Yes or no? Jai Hind. Good. As the host was saying that she has already introduced me. I'm Colonel Rajiv Bagga, and I have spent 32 and a half years, glorious years, in Indian Army. Wonderful years, blessed. I'm a former Black Hat Commando officer, spent 2 decades almost in J&K combating terrorism, hunting them. The psyche of the soldier is same what Colonel Shailendra also spoke. Certainly, I am not going to repeat the same, but you will invariably find the soldier always think in a similar way. And along with this, I'm a jungle and mountain survival expert and ultra-marathoner till date. I'm going to speak about bravery, sacrifice, and patriotism. Suddenly, these 3 words are interconnected like a chain. Has to be. You will become brave if you are patriot. The jazba of that patriotism, if it is existing in you. With my few stories, or short stories, or something about a short story about the Great War, I'm going to prove it. Well, the first thing I talk about, in most of the forum, many people ask me, sir, where are you from? I all the time say, I am an Indian. I don't speak about what province. That comes later. If you ask any Israeli, where are you from? He'll say, I'm Israeli. We are Indian first. Now let me talk about this, why I say so. When we joined Indian Military Academy or National Defense Academy, the training is so designed. We are 16-year-old or 17, 18 years old. kids coming from all over part of the country in our nation. And in that, we interact with each other, come to know about their shortcomings, sweat hard, rub our shoulders, and during that time, the bonding which we create with each other. When I passed out from academy, I'm talking about 1990, we were 400, now we are 350. 50 had attained martyrdom, God bless their soul, lucky guys. And, till date, when I speak to them, even we don't meet each other every day. The bonding and I never asked them, where are you from? They are from every corner of our country. I give you one small, real story. I take your memory back. There are certain people here who are not even born during that time, 1992. I'm talking about, there was one accident occurred in Parvanu Hills, that is Parvanu district. I'm talking about Timber Trail episode. In that, 10 lives were hanging between life and death. Army was called in. A brave officer from Special Forces was called in. He volunteered. Major Ivan Cresto, Christian officer, the man who flew the aircraft, Group Captain Fali, Major. Subsequently, in a later, he raised to the level of Air Chief Marshal, the Air Chief of Indian Air Force. And his co-pilot, Group Captain Upadhyay. The people who were stuck there were from various backgrounds. We never asked, where are you from? Wherever we go, we hold their hand. We are the iron fist and velvet glove. Remember, that is what exactly when we go anywhere, anytime, whether it is a war or natural calamities. Well, I got an opportunity to serve in 3 establishments during my career, and that too for a common goal, that is combating terrorism. I tasted the blood. That was my great battalion, 3rd Battalion of Sikh Regiment, where I was groomed by my ustads, Havaldar NCOs, JCOs, senior subaltern, my commanding officers, and subsequently in Rashtra Rifle, Black Hat Commandos. Only one thing I learned. There is nobody in front of me. There is no one behind me. Whosoever is standing left and right, wherever, they are my brothers. They are the one. I definitely get emotional whenever I remember them. Few of them attained martyrdom again. Well, anyway, proceed further. I also like to share one thing. Within my own battalion, there were a couple of commanding officers I served, under whom I served. Brigadier James Devadas Sena Medal. If again I take your memory back, he was the first man who landed at Andaman Nicobar. He was the brigade commander when tsunami struck. Again, a Christian also. When he's interacting with the Khalsa troops, the bravest of braves, all regiments are good, in any case. Like I never heard such a fantastic Punjabi, a person from Tamil Nadu speaking to a Khalsa troop. The culture, tradition, and the religion of our troops becomes our. This is what exactly we believe in the community, our family. And today, if somebody asks me, who is your family? When I close my eyes, and I all the time say, it is the entire nation is my family. Not the people who are staying along with me in the 4 walls. And that is what exactly I personally feel. Okay. Next thing I speak about how I'm leading my life as a veteran. I was all the time a man with a mission. I spent 32 and a half years, good, given to my nation. Certainly, I take pride in it. Now too, in the morning I get up, I see a bust of a sick soldier, a small statue. I salute him and say, you have taught me great military values. Why I am marathoner till date at the age of 57, the last marathon I ran last month only, that too in mountains. I just simply don't believe that there is something called age, because the army has given me that much energy level. When I recollect the siksha of my ustads, the Khalsa troops, or when I was in NAG, in Black Hat Commandos, the only thing they used to say, Sahab Badr, aapne abhi sirf 40% diya hai. Something, if you have got energy to eat, you got a capacity to run again and again. I have registered self just few days back in one of the most challenging race. I will not tell you the name. Probably I'm going to be the oldest one, and I will compete. When I was doing it, my wife, she was saying, will you be able to cope up? Running is a different, this time it is an endurance. Yes, I will. My daughter, who is a lawyer by profession, married to army officer, she said, Mom, if you are going along with him, and wherever you find him coming low, kindly remember, boost up his morale with our battalion war karai. Yes, this is what exactly keep pulling me. I keep pulling, keep striking hard. This is what is my psyche, my lifestyle. And people ask me, sir, you must be very free now, having a great time. No, definitely I'm having a great time. I hunt for our future leaders. My task is not over, my mission is not over. I don't want followers, I want to create more leaders through my experiences. This is what exactly the mission I am on. And my reply all the time remains the same. Military life is not only profession, it's a lifestyle. It flows here now, here, everywhere. Well, I progress further. I tell you something very commonly you must have heard from by many Fauji's, Namak Nishan, isn't it? What is that? And it is not confined to the men who wear uniform. Please flush out this thought from your mind. Namak Nishan is applicable in every field, whether you are working in a private sector or in media, you're a doctor, or wherever you are. The only thing is, you have to be loyal to yourself, loyal to your organization, and you have to think what exactly I'm going to do for the nation building. And when I say I'm on a hunt, I design my runs. Invariably, every day I run 10 kilometers. And en route, I look for youngsters, talk to them. My aim is to be absolutely interact with 4 to 5 strangers every day. Tell them about the war stories of our great heroes. Tell them about where exactly our nation is heading. And this is what, if I'm doing so, the younger generation, whosoever is sitting here, I absolutely take pride in them. They're very dynamic, And I'm delighted to share they got such a great vision and have got a real great vision to see our country touching the glorious heights. Okay. I progress further. I tell you something about short stories, and with the help of this, what I was talking about, sacrifice, bravery, and patriotism. I'm coming to this now. What is the psyche of a soldier when they go for a war? You need to understand why they are ready to sacrifice their life. It's just not psychology related, it is an emotion, definitely psychology, because it's emotion. Why so? The reason is you can understand with these short stories. I'm going to tell you about, in a very brief manner, an epic battle, Battle of Saragarhi. The battle of my regiment. We celebrate our regimental day on 12th September. 21 sick soldiers against 10,000. I'm narrating, I'm about to start. I can feel I'm really enjoying it. 21 guys, we talk about Spartans. They were 21 and they sorted out 10,000. It was in 1897, Saragarhi at present, that time, or now also, northwest province of Pakistan, a fort, communication fort. Havildar Ishwar Singh was sent along with a strong 21. And their task was to just send the communication or remain the communication between two forts, that is Gulistan and Lockhart. The tribals out there, they were becoming a problem. Definitely they wanted to capture those forts. Britishers were also trying to curb the problem. And 8th, 9th September, these tribals, Afridi and another tribe, they decided to go for it. They carried out series of attacks. All were repulsed. But on 12th September, they managed, or they were succeeded to isolate these forts. Havildar Ishwar Singh was told by his commanding officer, you withdraw. No. The bravery and sacrifice and patriotism is there in every Indian army soldier, JSO and officer. ये मान लीजिए आप. Okay. He refused to surrender. He chose to attain martyrdom there along with the 21 men. The fight started. They were outnumbered. The short of ammunition, Guthum Gutha ki ladai, and whatever came in their hand, they started. Finally, they attained martyrdom. When the reinforcement was sent after 2 days, though the fort were recaptured by Britishers, they counted 600 bodies inside the fort. 21 आदमी, 600 and 1,400 were injured. That tribal, they accepted it. Outcome, in one single act of war, all 21 were awarded Indian Order of Merit, highest gallantry award given to any Indian during that time. Standing ovation was given by House of Commons. Battle is still, till date, it is in somewhere in record, recognized in the first 8 battles in UNESCO. It is taught in France, need to be taught here too. All the war, all the bravery acts of our great warriors from any regiment, immaterial, wherever they have fought the war, should be taught in colleges, in their assemblies. There should be short talks. This is how you can inculcate the spirit of patriotism. Well, I proceed with a second short story again. 4 Garhwal rifle, 1962 war. 3 men of 4 Garhwal rifles. I'm talking about Jaswantgarh in Arunachal Pradesh. Battalion withdrew and they told them, you also come back. They decided to attain martyrdom there only again. There were 2 young girls who assisted them, Noora and Sila. On 17th of November, for 72 hours, Lance Naik Jaswant Singh, he kept holding Chinese. And he was awarded Mahavir Chakra posthumously. Imagine what is the psyche, why they do so? We are trained, definitely we are trained. But, you know, like, they are what exactly come in our mind? There's somebody waiting for us? No. We don't hate anyone who is in front of us. We definitely love those who are standing behind. The entire country. Right? Okay. And again, at the same time, I'm convinced that bravery acts are not there in the blood of the men who wear uniform. It's in everyone. Neerja Banot, 5th September 1986, Pan Am's aircraft were hijacked, and this young lady shown absolutely a great guts in front of those militants, opened the exit, emergency exit, and allowed the passenger to escape. She was shot dead. She was given the highest gallantry award during peacetime, that is Ashok Chakra. Janoon hai. It is here in everyone. Everyone, the person who is sitting in the cornermost place in the hall. Hota hai. Yes, hona chahiye. So this is what, now I want to bring out what is the psyche. Firstly, we have got a confidence in our training. We have got confidence in our superiors. We have got confidence in our nation. We are there or not there, our family will be looked after. And when we see anything happening to tricolor, the blood starts coming up. That we cannot tolerate. Never, ever. Okay. Next point. I talk about national anthem, war memorials, and certainly tricolor. Whenever I hear and see the tricolor in the wind, it's floating. It gives me a real goosebump, I'm telling you. Till date, I love to sing. I don't look for an occasion to sing my Rashtragan. I love it. Definitely. For me, all these war memorials are akin to temple. I run, I take my route while running and go and stand where the tricolor is. And that is, of course, my house is very closer to cantonment. And I spend some time there. I go and sit in the war memorials. And definitely, I don't hesitate to check those people who are not maintaining the decorum of it. I tell them, this is a temple, this is the war memorial of the great soldier who has lost life in the line of duty for you. You can't afford to do this. Yes, you have to do this, you have to check this. That's not a public park, it's a temple. Well, okay. Next thing, I come to another good thing which I like to highlight here. That is, throughout the life when the child is born, put in a good school in our country, he sing national anthem, participate and rather participate in all type of a fancy dress competition on national days, goes for higher academics, And suddenly, I don't know what happens, what compulsion comes, he or she decides to migrate. Why so? I prefer to die and born again and again in this soil, enjoy the same profession again and again. Why? The country is rising, country has given so much to you. It is so much, the great platform has been given to you. I don't want to die in some alien country as a Class C citizen. I love to die here on this earth. This, I recollect one movie which was made by late Shri Manoj Kumar, Pukar. भारत का रहने वाला हूं, you know it. जिसने इस धरती पे जन्म लिया, पाया प्यार तेरा. If it is so, why we run away from here? How can you become so cold that you forget your own parents, your own old Pathshala, your mentors, your colleagues, your friends, and the great brave soldiers who are fighting for you? Or the doctors or whosoever is working for you? If you are not capable of doing something worthwhile in your country, you will not be able to do there. Why you are trying to accept the culture of those people, right? So don't do that. Last not the least now, summing up, a message to my friends, younger generation. You please rise beyond the horizon. Test your own boundaries. This is what I'm doing. I definitely like to interact with the more people in an unconventional manner, unorthodox, going to Bagiche after my run, meeting them in the market. Many children are in touch with me. It is not that, again I'm saying, I'm not creating followers, creating more leaders. If I am humble enough to one or two strangers each day, that means I have contributed towards nation building. Nation first. Nation all the time first. And my endeavor is definitely remain whatever the step I take every day. I'm not trying to say I'm trying to show off. No, I want my step should be maybe some kind of a inspiration to someone. That's why I'm into physicals. That's why I'm living the life of a soldier at this age, and I will continue doing so. I'll do so. I'll keep striking till the time I feel that, which I don't think so, it is endless mission for me till I take my last breath. And another part, do not get bogged down by challenges or fear. Somebody asked, pressure I'm talking about. One of the very famous cricketer, Shri Kapil Dev ji, ki you're playing a match against Pakistan. You must be under pressure. He said, hey, come on. I play cricket for passion, not under pressure. So the words which has been imported from outside, fear, trauma, this and that, then nothing, please flush it out. Fear is actual, how you react. Let me tell you how you react. It's you. Then nothing. Don't scare yourself with all these challenges. And I'm telling you, you are in a real safe hands. Our borders are guarded. Even we are looking after inward also. Government is doing dynamic job. You heard other speakers what they spoke. They absolutely told you the truth. And you have to accept it. You have to create your own identity. And that day, you should really clap for yourselves when your father is going and somebody say, he is the father of that girl or boy who has done this thing for the country. This is your identity. I don't expect anybody becoming CEO of the company at the age of 21. But what you're supposed to become at 21, you must become an effective citizen. If at the age of 21, a young second lieutenant in the army is taking the charge of 40 lives in hands and not concerned about his life and ready to sacrifice, let's do it. Let's do something for our own country. Let's do it. Let's convince our soul and heart and mind. This is what exactly I have to say. And what experience I gained in Black Hat Commandos, whatever the operations, that is my past, and what I look ahead now in the eyes of young youth generation is definitely my mission. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Anything you'd like to ask? Oh yes, if you want to ask anything, you need to relay your question because I lost my hearing in one of the operations. I'm 50% deaf. Anyway, I take pride in that. Nothing to worry. God bless. Jai Hind. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Very, very enriching session there. Thank you very much. With that, we come to the end of this summit with the most powerful set of voices we have heard today. Each one has helped shape our understanding of nationalism in changing India into a much better place. Before we close, a heartfelt thank you to all our speakers, our organizing team, and you, our wonderful audience. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for being very patient, in fact. And please stay with us because I have an important announcement to make. One short announcement. Yes, sir. Can you please have the mic?
You are giving me mic now. Okay, DK Bakshi is my name. I am part of the Indian diaspora. First time to be here in Republic. When I was hearing all these speakers today, and it's not that I am not fan of other speakers, but the army personnel, what they shared here, I think we all need to give a big round of applause to the military and the army leaders who spoke. My question to you is, that is what actually the subject was. Trump has dictated a bloody war against India. He is today acting funny and making all of us miserable. You are an army officer, and many army officers who were here. You are the most disciplined people in the world. Proud, and I salute you. Why can't we as a nation, under this national collective, give response to that war? Because when the war comes to us, it just comes all of a sudden, instant. Am I right? Now, when we are in this war, why can't we take this country into a war situation, saying that let us get together and give response to Trump, what he can do? But that would need power of positivity, which you have shown, power of perseverance, power of persistence, power of pagalpan, which you showed. Am I right? Yes. Power of partnerships, which you showed, power of passion, which you showed, and power of pride, which you are still carrying. Am I right? Tell us today in this national collective, what should this country do to tell Trump, Mera Bharat Mahan, I am going to be ruling the world. वही आपने मनोज कुमार की बात की ना? Absolutely. Tell us.
I am highly impressed by the question. Thank you, sir. And, As I said that our country, and the previous speaker also said that हमारा इतिहास जो है बहुत तगड़ा है. We face so much brunt in our life. You know, Mongolians, they tried to enter our premises 8 times and we sent them back. Pakistan is a total shameless parrot who has become parrot now in somebody's hand. You know, in all war, 48, 65, 71, Kargil, and even now also Operation Sindhu, they are celebrating their defeat. Somebody is trying to glorify himself by becoming field marshal. Somebody. And immature person, I don't call him a person in uniform, definitely. He lacked military ethos. When the head of the family of that country, I'm talking about the army, lacked more military ethos, that country is in shambles. Baluchis are, in any case, going to sort them out. Whatever must be happening on ground or otherwise. And Sindh is also very perturbed. अब ये बचा पंजाबी फौज वहाँ का. They think that they got a capacity to stand in front of us, who has given them so much smashing. Even in Operation Sindhu also, there are toys which they tried to apply. They didn't even cross the first village. I'm from that land, I'm telling you. And we have got so much proof that we smashed their air bases, and they started shivering on a 4th day and started begging for a bloody, what? Ceasefire. We are a professional army. We said, okay, given a chance. And yesterday or today morning, their Prime Minister again trying to jump around the mics, which he has got a habit. You must have seen. And if it says that they have got a capacity, we have got our soldiers with us. War is not only fought with the weapons, it is fought with the heart, mind, and also the courage and the support of our great Indians. I was so much impressed during those 4 days that entire nation was united. पहले फौज लड़ेगी, thereafter the line of our veterans are standing. We are capable of enough. And their veterans have already migrated to other countries and sold their country in the hands of aliens. What fight they want to fight with us? Rather, I feel little low when I call them, they are my enemies. They are below standard. No. I am sincerely telling you, if they try another misadventure, they will be sorted out. That is total soldier promise, a promise of an Indian army soldier. Let me tell you, and very, खूब होश हवास में बता रहा हूँ मैं आपको. And this is what exactly जज्बा है हमारे में. एक बार भारत माता की जय करके अंदर कन्वेंशनल वॉर हो गया तो खत्म है वो 2 लोग. ठीक है, टेक्नोलॉजी is also victories all the time counted when our infantarian goes and capture their heads and ram their heads. And we will do it this time. Misconception और खाली ख्वाब जो है वो देख रहे हैं, it will not continue. Rest assured, I'm telling you. I hope, sir, I've convinced you.
Good evening, I am Group Captain Bajpayee. Just because sir has asked that so many defense personnel have spoken about bravery and other thing, if I recollect, his question was that Trump has launched the war. I may amend that sentence as that Trump has launched a tariff war. So there are 2 parts. As you yourself had said, the Indian armed forces are a disciplined forces we cannot revenge the war imposed by Trump on us because we are disciplined defense forces. We follow political leadership's order and implement on the ground. That was part one. Part two, each one of us in our own way can reply Trump's tariff war in our own small actions, like in case if you just remove from your mobile phones Amazon app for 1 month, it will be a tight slap on Trump. Second, boycott all the American products, just like as McDonald or Coca-Cola or similar projects. This is a befitting reply. Believe you me, by removing the Amazon app for 1 month, whatever Trump imposes, 100%, 1000%, you will recover almost for 5-year tariffs which he would have got. So this is the best reply for your question. I came in the rescue of my defense speaker. I was only silent listeners. Thank you, gentlemen.
Of patriotism alive, I am telling you, nothing will happen. I definitely looking forward for a very bright future for our nation. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you to all our speakers for being here with us, sir. And it was an honor to have everybody here with us today, from the audiences to all the speakers. And I'm sure, sir, Trump and Asim Muri must be listening to this, and this is going to go viral, and I hope it reaches the air. Thank you very much for being here with us. And with that, we come to the end of this conclave. We now invite our guests to join us outside for the high tea, along with the audience, to meet and connect also with our speakers and our network with the fellow attendees. And in the end, I would like to mention our sponsors once again. The third Nationalist Collective Conclave has been co-powered by Gallant TMT Rebars and Cement, Nirman Ka Real Hero, JK Tire, Desh Ka Tire, Apna Jobs, India's leading jobs app. Thank you again, everybody, for being here with us today. September 6th is the next conclave, so please be here with us, everybody, the Nationalist Collective members. Thank you again, everybody, for being here with us today. It was an honor to have everybody here.